Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome to the third episode of our Iman Booster series. In this episode, I'll share a heart-touching incident that happened when my dearest cousin got seriously ill around 11 years ago. The doctors were not too hopeful, so naturally we all were really upset. Now one day, after the doctor told me how critical she was, I was sitting outside the ICU, crying and praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for her life. Coincidentally, at that time, I was all alone in the corridor right outside the ICU door. Even the guards or any staff members were not there. Anyway, I was crying and thinking to myself, what should I do for her now? Oh my god, I'm still getting goosebumps about what happened next. My eyes were closed and I was praying desperately when literally I felt a breeze next to my right ear. I can still feel my spine tingling because that was when I heard a whisper in my right ear.
Go and recite Surah Al-Rahman next to her.
It was just a matter of few seconds, but it left me stunned. The feeling of that cold air around my neck and ear vanished and my eyes popped open in an instant. I immediately looked to my right side. Apart from a wall, there was nothing. I looked to my left side, still nothing. My heart was beating fast. I jumped up from my chair and frantically looked around. I even looked under the chair, but there was no one. It was so strange and yet so reassuring. I then looked for a Quran in the corridor and luckily I found one. By then, I could see my cousin's duty doctor coming out of the ICU. I rushed to him and asked if he could allow me to go inside and recite Surah Al-Rahman next to my cousin. The doctor was a bit hesitant, of course, as they normally don't allow outsiders to go in the ICU. But then, after thinking, he said, "Okay, go inside, but make sure to follow all the protocol and do not make noise or disturb other patients." I agreed, and finally I was inside the ICU. My cousin was on the ventilator and her condition was not good. The doctor had also told me that she wasn't responding to the treatment and that her chances of survival were bleak. Anyway, I stood by her bedside and started reciting Surah Al-Rahman. I was reciting it in a loop. It was my fifth time when suddenly her monitor started beeping. The nurses rushed towards her side and all of a sudden there was a lot of commotion. I was pushed to a side and my heart was beating so fast as I watched the scene unfold. The doctors had also rushed in to check on her. But that's when something really strange happened. Without a warning, my cousin opened her eyes and her first gaze met mine. It was an instant when I felt time freezing completely. The doctors were asking her if she knew where she was and all. But my eyes were fixed on her face as tears just, continued to fall down my cheeks. Like I couldn't control them. I didn't even know I was crying. She had regained complete consciousness and was responding to the doctors well. Everyone was pleased at the positive signs that she was showing. But I knew in my heart it was nothing but Allah's miracle. My cousin lived for 10 years after that incident, but at the time of this incident, I believe Allah had put shifa for her in Surah Al-Rahman. I later told her about this incident too, and she was also in tears about the mysterious ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes shows His mercy to us all. I can never forget that feeling of someone whispering in my ear and that cold breath around my neck. I don't know what it really was, but all I know is that it was Allah's way of helping us when we were so desperate. Alhamdulillah. This was a true Iman booster experience for me. Do you have any such incidents in your life too? If yes, please share them in the comment section below for us all to be awed and inspired by the kindness and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.